that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.
Welcome to Home and Away, a Tottenham Hotspur podcast hosted by myself, Graham Spice, and Glenn Cowie, where we discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur with both a match attending and international supporters view. Hey Glenn, how you doing?
I'm good, Graham. Doing good, mate. It's Sunday morning here, and yeah, had a nice little Saturday doing various bits around the house and grocery shopping. My wife was kind of stunned that every family member went to Aldi with her for grocery shopping, so that was exciting. I can't remember the last time we all went grocery shopping. So yeah, pretty low-key Saturday after a bouncing Friday for me after getting up at 4:30 in the morning. I then woke Iris up at 5:55 because she was adamant she wanted to watch the game with me, and she did. And then which we'll cover in a sec, after the game finished, rolled into a nice little workout with some mates, and then a jump in the rather cold Port Phillip Bay. So yeah, it's been a nice weekend to this point. But how are you going, mate? Are you well? Do you have a good Saturday?
Yeah, I had a good Friday too, because I took Friday off, which was a good job really, because I didn't get home till nearly 1 from the football. Yeah, I've not done a huge amount, but it's been nice. The weather's still been quite pleasant here, which is, again, it's very weird. I think, unfortunately, we've used up our summer a bit early in the year this summer.
Yeah, I remember years ago, I came back from America when I was living there with Lindsay, and it was like 31 degrees in early May. And I'd been away a while. My mate went, "Oh, you should move back. It's always like this here now."
Very big fibber. Yeah, very pleasant. My daughter Shark came around today, went out for dinner. So yeah, done a few bits. What are we doing? Monday, I'm running cable to patch I told you about my broadband problem.
Well, your Fox, wasn't it?
The Fox bit through the coax cable that runs around the outside of the house.
Which is very relevant to our podcast, because without that, we can't record.
Yes, exactly. So, and actually, I had real problems uploading the file for the last recording. It took ages, and it's not a big file, but I was having lots of problems. So I just decided, right, I've got to do it. So I've been putting it off. I was going to do it when I got back from my holiday, but I don't think I can wait that long. I've got to do a week's work next week when I'm based from home. So I've got like 15 meters of coax and connectors and all the paraphernalia to replace.
Well, it's a shame.
The dodgy section.
It's a shame my brother lives in Belgium now. He doesn't live in Sandhurst, same way I watches around the corner, but he does that for a living. So,
does he? Oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah, it would have been nice to send him your way. Well, enough of possible issues with coax that could impact our podcast. We're on the podcast, and I want to cover it, of course. I messaged you the Bodo Glimt game. You know, it's always hard for me being so far away, games of that magnitude, and it always happens. I always get a bit emotional right before kickoff, because as the players came out, I couldn't even hear the Europa League anthem. And
I was in the stadium and right below the speakers, and I couldn't hear it.
Yeah,
it was loud. It was very loud. It was amazing.
It looked absolutely incredible. And of course, for me, that's not a coincidence that we roared into an early lead. But yeah, fantastic occasion. But let's go all the way back. You went with Thomas. And so how was your commute in and out? Better than the Forest game?
Better than the Forest game, but still busy. It was real busy. I got there nice and early. I think I was about 6 o'clock. I met Thomas. And we went for a kebab just over the road from the station, the Spur Kebab House. It's quite nice. Yeah. So I had a really nice meal in there. He'd come down from Nottingham. He took half a day and parked at Verbals Grove, where I parked the week before for the Forest game. But he had no issues. And then he got the train down. We met on the corner of White Hart Lane and the High Street. So we did that. We had a look in the store. We both bought bucket hats. So both of us, it's a family trait. We have massive heads. And so I need a large fitting for a hat. So bucket hats end up looking like a little fucking umbrella stuck on the top of my head if I'm not careful. So we both got a large fitting Tottenham bucket hat, which I shall now be wearing on my holiday, which Heather says, "You're not wearing that on holiday." I said, "I am. I bloody am." So then we went, because of the whatever reason, security, we had to go in through the other end of the stadium. So we went in the south end, like, and then through Gate 90. Yeah, but we stayed. I was trying to meet Dominic, who we've had on the podcast, who's the chairman of Warwickshire Spurs.
Yeah.
But ironically, he had lots of travel problems getting to Wood Green from Farnborough, which is where I'd left from as well.
Really?
Yeah. So then, but he didn't. He was late, so we didn't meet him. So we about 20 minutes before kickoff, we walked around and up to the ground, but we were behind the south stand, with the touchline.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just seeing people everywhere, and everyone got the memo about the white shirts. I've never seen so many white shirts in the stadium. And there was, an eclectic mix of white shirts from, like I saw 70s, 80s, 90s, and more recent ones. It was really nice. It was quite cool. I wore my 2001 long sleeve Adidas with the Holston sponsor on the front. I think Thomas had a more recent one, but we saw pretty much all of them. It was really cool. Yeah, so all of the build up to the game, and I don't know what it was. We did the pod recording in the morning. Did we do it in the morning or the day before?
Day before.
We did the recording the day before and then released the pod on the morning of the game. And for whatever reason, I woke up, I was in the best mood. I was really excited for the game. I was really looking forward to it. And usually what happens is when you feel like that, it usually is never as good as you hope it will be. But it absolutely was. But when we got there, such a great start. I mean, it really got the crowd going. They were going anyway, but it kept them going, that early goal. That was a good goal.
On that goal, a really clever assist by Richarlison.
Yes, yeah. He was a real handful. And I know he came off at half-time. I think that was tactical rather than anything else. But it was a real handful. I've seen... Do you know, it's so funny, like you see comments from people make about players and that people have been ripping into shit saying he was awful, he should never, but I thought he played really well in the first half.
Well, I said it, I think it was last episode or the episode before, in that mad run that we went on at the start of the first season under Ange, he was integral to that.
Like, and he played in that role, same sort of outside left role, yeah.
He done really well in it. Incredibly, just looking at the stats, Bodo had 58% of the ball. But yet, our XG was obviously 3.06. We scored 3 goals. We had 24 shots. They had 3. I mean, and their accurate passes, 450 to our 288. Now, I think this tells you where those passes were, though. It was all in front of us.
But the second half, when we made substitutions, I felt that it really affected our shape.
Yeah.
And I know we love Kulusevski, but he's not the same as Maddison. We play differently when he plays in that sort of position.
Yeah.
And we didn't look as creative. We didn't press as high either. I thought the press dropped off, which is probably the reason they had more of the ball as well in the second half. And in the end, we gave them a little bit too much of the ball and they scored a late goal, which I was a bit disappointed with. The 3 game going there at 3-0, I was really comfortable. At 3-1, yes, it's great. We've got a 2-goal start, but if they score early in that match, then the pressure's on, right? All of a sudden, it could be quite a nervy game.
And just going back to their goal, I actually thought we were quite unfortunate because Bentancur...
It was a deflection.
Yeah, he tried to get something on that, and it's obviously come off the inside of his thigh or whatever and bounced obviously into the ground and over the keeper. I'm not as concerned maybe about them getting one back. I echo maybe Ange's comments after the games about the playing on the plastic pitch, whatever. He said, if we play like that, I don't care if it's plastic or grass.
I still think we'll score there.
Correct. And that's why I'm not worried.
Yeah. We can afford to lose 2-1, so it's not a problem.
Well, yes, is it. And I don't want to sound an elitist, horrible football fan, but I just think we're better than they are. I really do. I think we've got better players.
Did you see the quote from their defender about our press?
Yeah.
Nice, easy team talk there, wasn't it?
Team talk done. Just screenshot
right, lads,
that.
They think you're as good as the Swedish First Division team.
Let's
go and show them you're not.
For the 400 Tottenham fans that are going there, let's just make a nice little tifo of that quote and just have them hold it up.
A big middle finger tifo.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, 2 players I want to call out as I thought had excellent games, and I'd say Bentancur as well, but Porro I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, did a really good
job. Basuma played really well. But Porro, did he technically get 2 assists? Because he had the one, well, I guess it was assist to the assist, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He went into Richarlison.
Yeah,
But then the second one, the ball for Maddison,
yeah.
what?
That was great.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he did it again.
He
But
did.
it didn't end up being a goal. But he really accurate
Yeah.
passing. It was
And
great.
then, I don't know if you watch the presser. I don't know if he's trying to be funny or he just is funny. Because I will, whatever happens in the season, I will miss his pressers if he does go. Because a journalist asked him something like, something about the penalty. Was it a penalty? Was it a good penalty? And he's like, yeah, we scored. It was a good penalty. And he's like, yeah, but was it a penalty? He goes, I don't know. Went to VAR. They gave it. Move on.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of dissecting that? They made the decision. You got to live by that anyway, haven't you?
As soon as it happened, I was like, as soon as I saw it happen,
I was at the other end of the stadium, so it's very difficult to see.
I had the benefit of watching it on TV, and it was one of those where it happened, and then the ball kind of bounced around a bit. Some more things happened, and I thought, is this going to be looked at? And then as soon as the ref went like that, as soon as I knew he was going to look, I was like, that's a penalty.
Yeah,
like definitely. Great pen by Solanke.
Yeah,
it was under pretty intense circumstances to put us out of sight, so to speak. But you had sent me a screenshot or a picture of a Bodo supporter. Was he on the tube?
That is the funniest shit ever. So he's in full Bodo Glimt kit. He's in a yellow kit, shorts, and then he's got shorts. I said bare calves, and he's got a massive Tottenham crest on one of his calves. I was talking about split loyalties.
Well, he had a good night either way, I suppose.
I guess so, but yeah.
Were they, out of interest, were their fans very vocal throughout? Were they loud,
Not
were they just...
massively. It wasn't like the Frankfurt fans, although I told you I don't like the Frankfurt. The German fans, it's all very formulaic. It's all a bit like a music box rather than a real sort of passionate support of the team. But they were all right. And actually, I saw quite a few of them out and about. Saw them on the tube and that on the way there. They were fine. They were having a good day out. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. And we do a full preview of, obviously, the second leg. But one thing I've just pulled up is the weather in Bodo, where we're heading to. Well, not you and I, unfortunately, but the team, but our 400 away fans. It's snowing there today.
Is it?
Yeah, a high of 3 and snow, and then Monday is a high of 5 and rain. By the time you get to Friday, which could change, a high of 8, and then sunset 10:08 p.m.
So the game will be done and dusted before that.
Yeah. Now,
so it's basically not going to be that cold. I think is that all of this sort of Arctic temperatures is
8 degrees. You'll be. I mean that's what
English summer, isn't it?
That's Melbourne at the moment, mate. In the mornings, it's getting down to about that. And just going back to the result, our Norwegian guest, he nailed it, mate. 3-1.
He did. Got it spot on at 3. And also the first goal was the fastest Europa League goal, 38 seconds.
In history or just this season?
I think so. I'll double check it. But let's say yes. And then if it's wrong, I'll edit it out.
Well, it was our man on the muddy, Brendan Johnson. Always seems to be in the right place, right time. Good header, though.
Literally anything within 2 yards of the goal line, he's your man.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Head, feet, he's got it all. Just
he's there.
As soon as he's more than 2 meters away from the goal, it all falls apart.
One player that I wanted to mention as well is, I don't know if he's injured, but Werner's never playing for us again, is he?
No.
But is he injured at the moment, though?
I don't know. I almost don't care.
Yeah.
Mikey Moore was on the bench, though, which I was pleased with, but he didn't get on, though.
Last game Werner played was February 26th, home to Man City. Hasn't played since.
Didn't he miss a bucket load of goals or something, of shots? Like, he couldn't hit cow's ass for the banjo that
day. Yeah. I mean, he's not good. But look, overall, it looked like a wonderful evening. I'm glad you and Thomas got to experience it.
I thought Odobert, by the way, looked good when he came on.
Yeah,
Tell was okay, but nothing really happened.
For me, what was really nice in terms of like seeing the squad as a whole, knowing that you can look to the bench and actually make changes that might impact the game. And we've just not had that luxury, have we, at all, really? Much
Yeah,
this
there's not.
season.
Potentially, there shouldn't be as big a drop off.
Yeah.
If we, but we'll see.
Well, we're going to find out.
Exactly. We're going to find out exactly that because we're going to make a lot of changes.
We're going to find out. And also, really, really gutted for him. Gutted for us as well, because I think he's a really integral part of the team. Is Lucas Bergvall injured in training, and we kind of all thought, maybe it's just a knock. But then he was seen in a boot and on crutches at the stadium.
I think his season's finished.
It's done,
So disappointed. I'd have loved
a real
for him to have been available for the final.
100%. He's such a good option. But yeah, a pity. And then the fallout from the first leg, Maddison had a scan on his knee, but we're not sure what that means.
I think we can safely assume that he and Solanke, who also had a knock, I think a thigh.
Yeah.
I don't think, even if they're not serious injuries, I don't think they'll play tomorrow at all.
Well, good segue. We've affectionately called this fixture El Crapico.
Yeah. And I think my first note for this one was I almost give zero shits about this one. I literally couldn't care less about this match.
Yeah. I was saying off air to you that a while back, because it was 11 p.m. kickoff for me on a Sunday night, we'd made like a tentative plan ages ago with some mates to go for a bite to eat and a couple of beers, and then I'll host the game at mine. I'm going to put word out later to actually see who's still keen to do that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But you've got a comment around the new manager bounce at West Ham. West Ham United's new manager bounce.
Yeah. So, I don't think that Graham Potter bounce lasted very long. So they'd have been better off with Brian Potter from Phoenix Knights.
Phoenix Knights.
I don't know what's happened there, but they've just been awful. We've got 1 win in 8. They've been winless in 7. So neither. We are literally the worst two teams in the league, aside from the promoted ones that are already relegated.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fixture that normally. It's not on TV in the UK, which is strange. Normally, that would be a banker to be on. And I think that's a pointer to say how little it means. Like, there's nothing to play for either team, really.
Exactly.
Like you said in your notes, no more injuries.
Just please, no more injuries. Yeah.
I mean, it's not on TV, but you'll find a way. Let's just get to the 11 that we think. So you want to start, Graham?
So this is the team I think we should put out tomorrow against West Ham. First of all, I think Ange should have the day off. First team coach, I've gone for Bouncer from Neighbours.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. So
good experience.
Our listeners out of the UK and out of Australia, you may want to go.
Centre
He
back.
might remember you from after the cup final.
Yeah, he might well do. And Fazio, probably the slowest player I've ever seen play football. Should have been a sloth in a previous life. And then Mabazela at left back.
Oh, I remember him. I'll sign him from Orlando
Good
Pirates.
memory then, because he...
signed him from Orlando Pirates. And Orlando Pirates is not in America. I'll give our listeners an opportunity to look up where they are. And then
in a pre-season friendly as well, didn't we?
We did. Win Evans holding number 6 and Chirpy Bird box to box. And then who have you gone for right wing?
Donna Cullen.
Oh, our esteemed former
the
holder of the tickets. She used to run the ticket office, didn't she?
She could save a few bob by not signing a player and playing herself.
And then Danny Kelly in the hole. Danny Kelly,
number 10. Yeah. Give him a free.
And then I'll leave you to round it up. Who's up the top?
So we're playing Adele plays outside left, and Tom Holland as our fox in the box striker.
Let's hope that.
I think it's got balance.
Yeah,
we've got a little bit of pace. And a whole lot of something or other. Yeah. And how much I care about this match. I would rather we just played the under-15s or something. I really don't care about this match.
This could actually be, in all seriousness, it could be the game where we see Vicario get a rest. I do wonder if he brings.
I told you, Michael Vaughan.
Yeah, Michael Vaughan. Yeah, it's happening.
Emergency loan.
Is Defoe still a part of the youth setup in terms of managing?
No, I think he moved on.
Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping he'd get a run. But moving away from the West Ham game, because I will give a prediction towards the end of the show, but I'm with you, mate. I just don't know what to make of it, because everything tells and points that we just see an absolute ton of changes. You hope.
Yeah. The problem, only thing is that they're likely to play a stronger team than we are. They've they've not had Europe, so they can play their full team. They haven't played since last weekend. I don't think they played in the week, did they?
They haven't.
A few teams have been playing midweek games, but I think they've been playing catch up from from cup postponements.
Yeah.
But I don't think they played, so they got no excuses really. They should be stronger than us.
Well, and they're always bang up for it, right?
Yeah, these games certainly it's like their cup final, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll come back around in a moment for prediction, but news. Well, I say news. There's news in there. It seems like it's happening. Paratici is returning as director of football, which is really weird, right? Because we listened to the club when Ange came in, when Scott Munn came in, when Langer came in, and we were like rammed down our throat. This is a turning of the page. This is a new direction. And we just seem to be going back to what we had. So does that mean that Poch is going to return as well?
I wouldn't be surprised, but no, I think Paratici wasn't all hits, right? We had a few misses. So, but I would say a pretty good hit rate in terms of players he brought in, and with what we paid for them as well. We didn't pay that much for the players he brought in, right? He was quite clever. So yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed. It'd be nice to see him sat on the bench on his phone the whole time like he was before.
Was he responsible for Destiny Dogging? Because he came to us in August of 22. Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then Kulusevski and Bentancur.
Was it who else was he responsible for in terms of kind of fine? Was Solomon?
Yeah, but that was kind of like who's available for free where we can game the system.
Yeah,
and he was.
Well, speaking of Solomon, he scored a last-minute winner.
He scored to win them the title. Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm hoping they'll make us a decent offer for him when
now they're right,
and he deserves to play football. I mean, I've got nothing against the guy.
To be honest,
never worked out, did it?
Well, you say it never worked out. I'm not sure that we ever really will know, because if you look at his games, he only played 6 games for us, and then he got injured.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not really
injuries, didn't he? And then
it's not really enough to know. But yeah, I guess maybe a return and we'll see. But the other one that's doing the rounds, which, as I said to you when you said me this, only Tottenham could be on the verge of a major European final and talking about the manager being replaced. Xavi is the latest rumour.
Yeah.
But where's he? Is he even employed? Or is he?
No, I don't.
Wasn't he out in Qatar?
I think. I can't remember now.
We should have. I should have done this before, but I'm going to check. Yeah. So he was. He was outside. So he was Barcelona manager 3 years, 21 to 24, and then he went. Before that, he was outside for 2 years in Qatar.
So he had the job since Barcelona, basically. So it's been a year out the game,
which isn't necessarily a bad thing sometimes. Managers, but he's 45. Obviously, we don't need to talk about his playing career. Any listeners that don't know, then go and find out. But obviously, a wonderful, wonderful player. His style, though, you would assume it's possession based. You would assume it's tiki-taka. Quite a bit different to Ange in terms of
but maybe more balanced.
Yeah,
we'll see. I mean, who knows? Again, it's just rumours at the moment. But but I've seen all kinds of weird rumours. It might be that he did an interview where he said there were 4 clubs that he would like to coach in the Premier League, and we were one of them. So that might be as a rumour as it is, rather than anything really solid.
I mean, he was managed by Guardiola, right? So
yeah, I'd be okay with it, but I guess depends what next season holds, doesn't it? Really,
this is it. This is exactly it.
I just do we need Xavi to manage 38 league games and a handful of domestic cup games? Really,
the fact of the matter is, if that's the case and that's what we're playing in, we may as well have Parker do it and keep it warm for Pochers to return after the World Cup. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know, mate. It'll be interesting to see what plays out, as you said, in terms of next manager. If it might be Ange, maybe he's given a run if we actually do win the thing. So,
well, maybe they make that decision that we are going to hold on for Poch to summer 26. So keep Ange for another season. I think that could go really badly or really okay. It depends very much on the kind of season that Ange has, right? I mean, if he were to stay.
Yeah,
if he had a bad start, it could all unravel very quickly.
yeah.
I mean, the support is already fairly. I mean, he'd get a lot of good grace for winning the cup, of course, but still, people are really disappointed. We're paying a shit ton of money to go and watch really mediocre football. You know, it's great. We've got a really nice stadium, but you don't really want to. It doesn't matter nice if you just sat there depressed for the whole season. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing. If we
Well,
do
looking at our
take a risk.
games, West Ham away, obviously, coming up tonight for me, afternoon for you. And then we've only got 2 home games left. That's
Palace
Palace
and
and Brighton.
I'm going to be
Obviously, away to Villa. And on that, some other bit of news, away to Villa, they've rejected our request to move it, which I find kind of ridiculous is on a Sunday anyway. Just make it the lunchtime game on the Saturday. Just give us an extra day. I don't know why it needs to be. And I'm just looking now. That weekend, is there even a? There's not. That's what's really frustrating to me. So that weekend, right? There's a Friday night game, which is Chelsea Man United.
Yeah.
And there's no lunchtime game on the Saturday. But do you know what? Is it because it's the FA Cup final that weekend? I wonder if that's why. And they want that as a standalone, isn't it? Or... No, I think it's that. It might be that. That's probably why they don't want any other games played. Hold on.
Is it Whitson?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That Saturday is the FA Cup final at 3 p.m.
So is that the same weekend that the playoff finals are?
Potentially.
The Sunday and the Monday?
Maybe. Or maybe that's the following week. But what they seem to have done is the FA have clearly said to the Premier League, we don't want any fixtures on the Saturday owing to the fact it's the FA Cup final, and that seems to be what happened. We've got Chelsea Man United on the Friday night, and then on the Sunday you've got lunchtime Everton Southampton, us at 2:15, West Ham Forest at 2:15. So there is no games on that Saturday whatsoever.
Okay. Well, again,
the FA Cup final.
I will be doing a first 11 for that match also, and it won't be as strong as the one we're putting out against West Ham.
We've got the final to come. Yeah, it's almost like can we just phone it in and say we're not going to actually attend?
Yeah,
we don't really want to.
Just play rock paper scissors or something.
Yeah, we don't fancy coming to Birmingham. Well, coming back to the West Ham game, predictions from me. I think we lose 3. I do. I think they're going to be up for it. I think it's their thing to play for is the fact it's against Tottenham. Our thing to play for is we don't really care.
Yeah.
That would.
I think all we've got is pride to play for, really, haven't we? At this point.
Correct. I put 17. If they beat us, we'd be 17th.
Yeah. So we haven't cracked that 40 points yet, have we?
No,
37. We're still on 37, aren't we?
Will that be the first Premier League club ever to win the Europa League and not get 40 points?
Quite possibly. I looked at the 83-84 season when we won the UEFA Cup. We lost 15 matches that season, but we finished 8th.
Yeah.
After 15 matches. So, the difference this season is that I think we haven't won actually, there was more games that season as well. There was 22 in the league at the time, I think.
Yeah, it would have been 24 in the league, I expect, right? 22.
I think it was only 22 that season. Because they were gradually decreasing it or increasing it. I can't remember which way.
But that was under still Birkinshaw, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He left.
Well, we'll see, mate. We will see. And then as far as your viewing experience, West Ham, not on TV, but you'll find a way. So you'll be tuning in.
There'll be the signals will be beamed directly into my head from space lasers or something.
So, just so I'm understanding, your watching experience will be post your fix of the coax table. Or
I'm doing that on Monday.
Monday, I'll bank for Monday.
Should be all right. I think it'll be all right. There's enough buffer that I can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a great deal else to cover, other than to say that we will be doing a full preview of the second leg, and that will be obviously include post-review of the game that is West Ham.
We'll give that the 30 seconds that it deserves.
Yeah, 30 second review, yeah. And everyone can be very thankful, our listeners, that Graham has stayed up to almost midnight for the recording of this one, knowing that it was West Ham and we didn't really have to, but we want to remain consistent.
Yeah. We didn't want to just phone it in.
And Oh, and thank
Yeah.
you, our recent Norwegian guest, for those listening in Norway and the wider Scandinavian region. Thank you very much, because you've upped our subscriptions and downloads. So clearly we found some fertile ground in Scandinavia. I want the pod.
We certainly got, I think I looked at the breakdown of downloads, and it was the third largest was the people from Norway downloading.
So anyone in Norway and they listen,
Thank you all.
Thank you, and then spread it with your mates so you can get higher and be number one download.
Yeah. So as it currently stands, US, UK, and Norway in that order.
Awesome.
And then there's a few other ones, like Australia's in there, obviously, because there's a few there. 10 from Israel. So I think a few of my work colleagues are definitely tuning in. I've got friends that aren't even Tottenham fans who listen in, so that's quite cool. I appreciate all of you.
Yeah,
Love you all.
Indeed we do. Well, nothing else from me other than to say, as always, come on, you Spurs.
Thanks for everyone who's listened in. Please like and subscribe to the podcast to tickle the algorithm so we can get in front of more Spurs supporters. And as Glenn said, to close us out, come on, you Spurs.
You can contact us on email at tottenhamhomeandaway@gmail.com or on Twitter X @TottenhamH&A.
Let me be the one that you turn to, someone you can rely on, closer each day, home and away.